I live alone in a small apartment complex, tucked away on the edge of a quiet town. It's the kind of place where you could hear a pin drop, where nothing exciting ever really happens. Most of the other tenants are quiet, almost like ghosts themselves, and the hallways are usually dead silent by 10 o'clock sharp. Life was predictable, and honestly, I liked it that way. This whole thing happened last winter, on a Tuesday night. I remember it vividly. I was getting ready for bed, scrolling through my phone one last time before calling it a night. The clock read 11:47 p.m. I had an early start for work the next morning, so I plugged my phone in, turned off the lights, and burrowed under the covers. The room was pitch black, and the only sound was the gentle hum of my refrigerator. About 10 minutes later, just as I was drifting off, I heard a faint sound. It came from the direction of my front door. At first, I dismissed it. It was probably just one of my neighbors walking down the hall. The walls in this building are paper thin, and even the softest footsteps tend to echo. But then, I heard it again. This time, it was clearer. A soft, rhythmic sound, like fingers lightly tapping against wood. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. I froze. My eyes were wide open, staring up at the dark ceiling. I didn't move a muscle. I just listened, straining to hear anything else over the sound of my own heart suddenly pounding in my ears. The tapping stopped as abruptly as it had started. Silence descended on the room again, thick and heavy. A few seconds crawled by, each one feeling like an eternity, and then I heard something that made my stomach twist into a knot. It was the sound of my doorknob turning, slowly, deliberately. It was a faint, metallic creak, the kind of sound someone makes when they're trying to be as quiet as possible. My mind immediately started racing. I knew, without a shadow of a doubt, that I had locked the door. It's the first thing I do when I come home. It's an automatic, ingrained habit. I double-checked it. I always do. I held my breath, my body rigid, just waiting for the click of the latch giving way, for the door to swing open. But it never came. The doorknob stopped moving. Then, nothing. Hoost, absolute, terrifying silence. I lay there for what felt like hours. It was probably only a few minutes. Every single one of my senses on high alert. I was too scared to move, too scared to even breathe too loudly. Finally, mustering every bit of courage I had, I slowly, carefully reached for my phone on the nightstand. My hand was shaking so much I almost dropped it. The screen lit up the dark room, and I checked the time. 12:03 a.m. 16 minutes had passed since I first heard the tapping. Just as I was about to dial for help, my phone buzzed. A notification popped up on the screen. It was from my apartment's security app, the one connected to the little camera in the hallway right outside my unit. The notification read, "Motion detected at front door." It included a short video clip. With a trembling finger, I opened the app and played the video. The footage was grainy, lit only by the dim, yellow emergency light at the end of the hall, but it was clear enough. It showed a man. He was standing directly in front of my door, his body facing it, perfectly still. It was like he was a statue, just listening, waiting. His back was mostly to the camera, so I couldn't see his face, but I could make out his dark coat and the tense posture of his shoulders. The timestamp on the video showed that he had been standing there, completely motionless, for over 5 minutes before the clip ended. He was just there. My blood ran cold. Who was he? What did he want? The video clip ended, leaving me with more questions than answers and a feeling of pure, primal fear. I didn't sleep a wink that night. I just sat up in bed, staring at my locked door until the sun came up, flinching at every creak and groan of the old building. The next morning, exhausted and on edge, I went straight to the building management office. I showed them the video, my voice shaking as I explained what happened. They looked at the footage, their faces grim. They assured me that no one matching that description lived in the complex. They checked the security logs for the main entrance, but found nothing. They even reviewed the footage from the other hallway cameras, but they said they hadn't recorded anything else unusual that night. It was as if the man had materialized out of thin air right in front of my door, and then vanished just as mysteriously. They offered to change my locks, which I immediately agreed to. For a few weeks, I felt a little safer, but the feeling of being watched never really went away. And now, sometimes, when it's late and the building is silent, I think I hear it again, that soft, faint tapping sound near my door. It's probably just my imagination. At least, that's what I tell myself. But one thing is for sure, I never, ever check the hallway camera anymore. I'm too afraid of what I might see. Thanks for listening to my story. If you have any similar experiences, I'd be interested to hear them in the comments. Stay safe out there, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. See you next time. When you work the night shift, you learn to appreciate silence. Silence usually means everything is going right. The night is calm, the hours are ticking by, and you're just waiting for the sun to come up. But sometimes, silence is the most terrifying thing in the world. Sometimes, it means you're the only one left to hear what's coming for you. This happened to me when I was 19. I was working the graveyard shift at this tiny, isolated gas station. It was one of those places just off a rural highway, a single point of light in miles of darkness. We were technically open 24 hours. But let's be real. Between midnight and 5 in the morning, the only company I usually had were the crickets and the flickering fluorescent lights. The nights were long, quiet, and mind-numbingly boring. I'd spend most of my time restocking chips, cleaning the coffee machine, or just staring out into the pitch-black void, waiting for a pair of headlights to slice through the darkness. Most nights, they never did. But this one night was different. It started around 2:30 in the morning. A car pulled into the lot. It was an old dark-colored sedan, the kind that looks like it's seen better days. That wasn't unusual. What was unusual was where it parked. We had about 8 pumps, all of them empty. Instead of pulling up to one of the pumps right in front of the store under the bright lights, this car drove all the way to the farthest pump, the one half swallowed by the shadows, at the edge of the lot. Right away, my internal alarm started to hum. It was just a little thing, but it was off. A man got out of the driver's side. He was tall, and all I could make out was a dark silhouette against the faint glow of the highway lights in the distance. He walked over to the pump, but he didn't grab the nozzle. He didn't take out his wallet. He just stood there, completely still, facing the store, facing me. I watched him through the big plate glass window. My hand was halfway to the shelf with the potato chips, and I just froze. It felt like a full minute passed, maybe more. He didn't move a muscle, just stood there, watching. It was the kind of stillness that feels deliberate, heavy. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe his card was declined. Maybe he was waiting for someone. I told myself to stop being paranoid and went back to restocking. I tried to focus on lining up the bags of chips perfectly, a small act of order in a situation that was starting to feel very chaotic. But I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every few seconds, my eyes would dart back to the window. A few minutes later, I peeked again. He was still there. Or rather, he wasn't by his car anymore. He had moved. He was closer now, standing just outside the automatic doors, right on the edge of the concrete walkway, where the light from the store met the darkness of the parking lot. He still hadn't come inside. He was just standing there, his face obscured by the shadows and the glare on the glass. But I just knew, he was staring straight at me. That's when the real fear hit. It was a cold wave that washed over my entire body. Suddenly, I was intensely aware of every detail of my isolation. The empty aisles, the silent coolers, the complete absence of cars on the highway. There was no one else. For miles, it was just me and this man, separated by a thin pane of glass. My heart started pounding in my chest, a frantic drumbeat against the dead silence of the store. I couldn't move. I just stood there, locked in this silent, terrifying standoff. He must have been there for at least 30 seconds, though it felt like an eternity. Every horror movie scenario I'd ever seen flashed through my mind. I thought about the lock on the door, how flimsy it was. I thought about the panic button under the counter, and how far away it felt. Then, as suddenly as he appeared, he turned around. He walked calmly back to his car, got in, and drove away, his taillights shrinking into red dots before disappearing completely down the highway. I finally let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. My legs felt like jelly. I stumbled over to the counter and leaned against it, trying to calm my racing heart. I told myself it was over. He was just a weird guy. A creep. Nothing more. The rest of the hour passed in a blur of anxiety. I kept staring out the window, expecting his car to reappear at any moment. But the highway remained empty. Slowly, very slowly, I started to relax. I convinced myself I had overreacted. That feeling of relief lasted until 4:10 a.m. That's when the same car pulled back into the parking lot. My blood ran cold. This time, he didn't park by the pubs. He drove directly in front of the store, parking horizontally across 3 parking spaces, his headlights aimed right at the front doors, blinding me. He didn't get out. The engine was still running, a low, menacing rumble that vibrated through the floor. He just sat there. I was paralyzed with fear. My mind went completely blank. I couldn't think. I couldn't move. Then, some survival instinct kicked in. I grabbed the store's phone from the counter. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped it. I held it to my ear and started talking. To no one. I just started babbling, pretending I was in the middle of a conversation. "Yeah, he should be here any minute," I said, my voice trembling. "He's just making a delivery around back." No, it's fine. I'm not alone. I don't know why I did it. I guess I just wanted him to think there was someone else there. A witness. A threat. I wanted him to believe I wasn't an easy target. I kept up this fake conversation for what felt like hours. I talked about the weather, about my imaginary friend's day, anything I could think of, all while keeping my eyes locked on that car. The man inside never moved. He was just a dark shape behind the wheel. The minutes crawled by, each one stretching into an eternity. My throat was dry, my voice was cracking, but I didn't dare stop talking. Finally, after what must have been at least 5 or 10 agonizing minutes, the car's reverse lights flashed on. He backed up slowly, turned, and drove off into the pre-dawn gloom, leaving me alone once again in the deafening silence. I didn't move until the first rays of sun started to peek over the horizon. When my manager came in to relieve me at 6 a.m., he found me sitting on the floor behind the counter, still shaking. I tried to tell him what happened, but it all sounded crazy when I said it out loud. A guy just parked and looked at me. It sounded like nothing. He just sort of nodded and told me to get some rest. The next day, he called me. His voice was different. He told me that someone had broken into the storage room behind the station that same night. The heavy-duty padlock had been pried open and shattered. They must have used a crowbar. But here's the weirdest part. Nothing was stolen. The inventory was all there. Tools, supplies, everything. They just broke the lock and left. I never found out if it was the same man from the car. The police had no suspects, but I couldn't shake the feeling that it was. I couldn't stop thinking about him standing outside the door, starting at me. Was he trying to see if I was alone? Was breaking into the storage room a test? Or was he interrupted? Maybe my fake phone call actually worked. Maybe he thought my imaginary friend was about to show up. I'll never know for sure. What I do know is that I quit that job a week later. I couldn't handle the nights anymore. Every shadow, every sound, every pair of headlights made me jump. I haven't worked a night shift since, and now, even all these years later, silence doesn't feel peaceful to me. It just feels like the quiet before something terrible happens. It's a reminder of that night, and the chilling realization that sometimes the most terrifying threats are the ones that just watch and wait.